Welcome to another exciting episode, adventure, whatever you might want to call it, to Gem Collectors with Shawn. I am Shawn. You are seeing this on a Tuesday, but thanks to Asif, you're getting to see it at all. Yeah, I dropped out last week. It was a difficult week for a lot of reasons. We might get into a couple of those just later, just with me, talking to some friends, whining to you guys, because when you're trapped in a house that has had water damage and none of it much has been fixed by now, you pretty much have been confined to the bedroom because everything else in that living space got put into all the other corners of the room like a, kind of almost, this is probably some southern way to say it, but kind of like almost putting a piece of popcorn in a microwave. You're kind of going to get that explosion, and all that explosion goes into all the corners of the house. Now, I did it once for you guys. I'm not doing it again, okay? There's your Shawn in his not southern drawl. That's when you're in, dare say, in the backwoods of the hollers. Yeah, when you're in the backwoods of the hollers and you need to pretend as in Rome. Yeah, so as in the hollers, so goes the hollerin'. And I can just drop into that as needed. So there you go. Remind you of any movie like with Burt Reynolds and some of the old greats in it that was filmed in Georgia? You hear in almost every other horror movie reference that movie. So I'm not going to tell you if you don't know it, because you certainly should. So we have a great, exciting show. Not that many comments, so that part won't take that long. Trivia, yep, we have a winner. And when not as many people participate, it greatly increases anyone's chance at winning it, because for those of you not having heard the any rules or regulations to our official trivia game here in lately, I'll just say that when there's answers, everybody gets them right, then I assign a number to each person's name, and I'll ask Asif, Dave, or anybody passing by to name a number between 1 and however many are participating, and go from there and see how that goes. And it's amazing how items wind up right where they're supposed to belong. And as a matter of fact, our first comment from Miss Elisa, of course, in Florida, addresses the Twilight Zone effect the show has in so many ways. Let's hear how, let's hear the supernatural event that happened to her in relation to this show. I so wish I could talk like Rod Serling, the creator of the Twilight Zone. He was a true, to me, for the time period, a man's man. I mean, of course, from the 50s, everyone smoking cigarettes, and he would just always smoke a cigarette doing his monologue, and he's similar to me, a monologue before the show, right? Yeah, he and I have a lot in common. And but it's amazing how the episodes of the Twilight Zone were, so many of them, fitting to the social causes of the times then. He addressed, as in many cases, the Alfred Hitchcock series did as well. Alfred, the half-hour shows, and they addressed everything from alcoholism to gangs, the 50s rumbling and whatnot. Between the two of them, having that platform of horror and the supernatural and the Twilight Zone part, that you could pretty much address a lot of those issues, and they did. And it's funny when you go and watch those shows even now, the social norms haven't changed, sadly enough, in so many ways. Those same social causes and social ills of society are still here and prevalent around us today. So the shows you watch, it's like these people had, almost like a not only a good handle on the norms of the times, but also looking into the future as well. And so if you've never seen the original series, Twilight Zone, that's why they came out with 2 other series of creations of it, recreations of episodes, kind of trying to draw on that, and still under the Twilight Zone name since then. So, yeah, treat yourself. Look at and watch the original ones. If you can't ever get them, every New Year's Eve they play it. Every episode of Twilight Zone from the start to finish over the course of the New Year's weekend. Always something every year to look forward to. Okay, so from rocks to Twilight Zone, I could draw, you know what, I could probably name every Twilight Zone episode that had anything to do with a meteorite landing or any kind of rock involved item. I remember I was on the fly here one time, and so was someone from HR, and they were just doing a random questionnaire of the people that worked here, and as to what their favorite movie was. So on the fly, the very youngster, very young, younger than my son, so anyone younger than my son is a real youngster, 20-something. And anyway, we crossed paths, and he said real quick, he goes, "Shawn, what's your favorite movie?" And I said, "Jurassic Park." And instantly, I didn't even have to think. And no one had ever asked me that before. And he said, oh, he hit his head. He goes, "Of course it would be. Why would I think there would be anything else other than Jurassic Park?" Of course, because the first one, the whole thing centers around an amber mine and finding the mosquito in the amber and drawing out the blood that they got the DNA that they recreated the dinosaurs from. So kind of a neat premise, and probably not too far from being possible at some point. Certainly they're going to make a mammoth because they already have the DNA. They just go to sequence in the modern elephant. See that talk? That's what you get from watching too much Jurassic Park. Like they use the frog, and the famous line that I always love, life finds a way, and it truly does. Okay, so back to Miss Elisa and her comment that started my little diatribe on the Twilight Zone there. "Hello, Professor Shawn, the lovely Raven, GSN crew, and Rock family. Shawn, I have to share, as it is a little bit crazy, but lately when I have a question about something, you'll somehow talk directly about that subject/topic on your very next show and answer the question just randomly as you are presenting an item. How are you doing this? The mystery of the show continues." Then she writes, "Insert Twilight Zone theme song. Ha ha." Well, there you go. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. There's my version of it. I'll keep this short. My answer to this week's questions are: 1, well, let's, before I give you the answers, give you the questions, right? So I have them ready. I know what I'm doing. Question number 1 is what are the first and second most popular stones sold in the world? The answer, the first one, the number 1, and in this case it covers all the colors, so I could see why it would be sapphire. The second most popular gemstone sold in the entire world is actually blue topaz. Not topaz, but specifically blue topaz. And I can see that too, because it is still wildly popular. And I have a ring that I haven't brought in yet. I don't know if it's for this show. It may be for another show, which I've put in dozens of other items that I haven't even exposed to this show, into Sam's shows, and it just wouldn't have been the right items especially after seeing the things I have shown that haven't sold. So keep looking over here because that's where some of the new goodies are. So I have adjusted some of the items I'm going to be presenting to you today, and we'll see if there's anything there that grabs you. But in figuring out which goes where is always something that I consider giving all of you the first opportunity at those items. So one of the items I have is a big, beautiful blue topaz surrounded by, it's a double row of diamonds around it, smaller diamonds, but really, really nice goods. And a gorgeous ring, and I'm so surprised really that, and I think I can tell that it's an original stone in there. And so someone thought a lot of it to put that kind of money into the diamonds with the stone around it. So yeah, you'll be maybe I'll show anybody. If anybody specifically wants to see it, let me know on that. Second question was, what is the name of a iron nickel meteorite containing olivine? And that's where so many people get the make really kind of the mistake and say that Peridot is the stone from space. Well, for one, it's officially olivine, the Peridot's parent gemstone, let's say. And secondly, it doesn't come from space unless it's within a palisade. So other than that, all the Peridot that you see on Earth does not come from space. I hear it kind of presented oddly from sources that aren't as well read about the topic as I might be. So that was question number 2. So the answer being a palisade. So a palisade, and I had a tremendous one with, beautiful, beautiful gem quality olivine, which when it gets to really a gem quality version of olivine, Peridot can be substituted for it. So it was really Peridot and iron nickel meteorite with the emphasis on the nickel part. So it polishes up beautifully. And I sold it. I think I sold it here at Gem Shopping to somebody has that beautiful, beautiful piece. So the answer being a palisade, and it can be called really nothing else. Remember, the other gem that truly comes from space for a moment, a palisade containing olivine is truly a gem from way in outer space somewhere. A moldavite is a tektite, and a type of tektite. And I've heard moldavite also being described wrong. People get moldavite, I think, mixed up with fulgurite kind of thing, but I don't quite know how. But that's a. We'll just go with they haven't listened to our show, right? A moldavite is formed from the impact of a meteor. Remember, it's a meteor when it's in the space. It's a meteorite after it hits the Earth. So after the meteor hits the Earth, the ejected material, in other words, the material, and it has to be big enough for this to occur, is ejected with such impact up and out, depending on the angle the meteor comes into and hits the Earth, and is ejected out into what they call a strewn field. And so remember that wherever a tektite lands or is formed, the tektites are named after the area that they land in. So actually in Georgia here is one of, I think there's not only like 7 strewn fields across the world, and so you have Georgiites in South Georgia. Wouldn't that be something to find? You have Indochinites because of the impact, and tektites formed in Indonesia. And you have Australites, so there was impact in Australia, and so on. So that material, that silica material, is instantly made into glass, formed into glass, and that's where you get the bubbles and the flow lines, and but it goes up as high about as the trip you can take commercially to outer space, to just to that 62 mile, is that it? Right to the edge, but still where there's a pull of gravity, and it pulls the material, the gravity pulls the material back down to Earth, and it solidifies. And depending on the type of Earth it strikes, it depends on how it turns out. Well, the beautiful, beautiful silica sands formed in the area of the Moldau River, hence where it was named after, which is was actually Bohemia at the time. It's Czechoslovakia now, or just the Czech Republic now. So that was named after that. And so it came back down and rained back down and spread across a particular strewn field. And there were some that hit water, this area of water, and near Besenica. And then, so you have the Besenica motivites, which are the highest valued motivites. Just a little extra information on motivite there. I happen to have some amazing specimens over my 51 years of collecting, and you know, I enjoy the specimens sometimes for decades, and then you know, I've learned to share them, and so I have parted with some of my nicest ones with all of you. I still think I have a nice big one that would facet a big stone. It's not a Besenica, but it's a beautiful, beautiful piece. So, but anyway, that is the two questions. Then there was an extra credit, which was name the type of mine that the beautiful andradite, iridescent andradite garnets in Japan were found in right near, actually on the surface of where the mine was or is. What was the type, what were they actually mining in this mine that not until much later was this incredible small but amazing deposit of andradite iridescent garnet. And so what were they actually mining in that mine? Magnetite. And you don't hear about that too much because there's so many other sources for magnetite that you just don't hear about specifically a magnetite mine too often. So there were the two questions and the extra credit, and I think everybody that got the two questions right also got the extra credit right. So well done to all of you. So Miss Elisa, she answers her questions, sapphire and blue topaz, pallasites, and magnetite, getting everything right. Take care, everyone, and have a great week, she says. Miss Barbara in Brooklyn. Hi, Professor, Raven, GSN crew, and the whole Rock family. Happy to spend my post-birthday Monday morning enjoying your show. Well, happy late birthday to you, and I am glad you can enjoy another show this week, even though a day late, but I know that a day late is better than a dollar short, and so I appreciate all of your patience and understanding in that regard. Like I always say, if you don't see the show, go and look for either a note or just keep looking every day, and you never know when we may pop up. Part of that Twilight Zone effect, you know. Okay, so Miss Barbara says, happy to so many goodies that she got to see. So that's cool. The makers out there must be ecstatic. All those match sets at super low prices ready to be used in bespoke jewelry. There's a tidy profit to be made if you have the will and the skills. That's exactly right in all those parcels last week. I mean, and it's funny. Even when I wasn't into making production jewelry or anything, I still bought parcels like that for the individual stones, and so that, you know, I could have either a substitute if I ever chipped or broke one, or if I ever needed pairs of something or was creating something and needed something. So I had bought, you know, so many of these different price point parcels. And so now you're getting the benefit of them. And also in this estate jewelry, I have been scrapping out a lot of the pieces. In other words, the pieces weren't going to be right, or were done in vermeil, or were just better to be broken down and sold off separately, gold from the stones. And so, yeah, that's how I'm getting those match sets. And Miss Barbara is so correct in how inexpensive those items are. And she knows. She's in the market, I can tell, quite often, which is fantastic to have that kind of reference as one of the family. Just a word about fun, super strong neodymium magnets. And then she's a great mama, too. She makes sure that I take care of all of you by bringing in another level of the science to this. So let's see about what she has to say about the neodymium magnets, one of my favorite dangerous things I like to play with. Please keep away from your cell phone or laptop. Same with your wallet full of credit cards. To say nothing of putting one in your left shirt pocket if you have a pacemaker. No, you don't do that. Too many things in our daily life are controlled by or utilize magnetism. So wiping your files, deactivating card strips, or changing your heart regulation are just a few oopsies you can create with an unshielded magnet. Now I add neodymium to that because regular household magnets don't have, are a fraction, and I mean a fraction, of the strength of the REE magnets, rare earth element magnets. Neodymium in particular. Which begs the question, how can you safely carry around a super magnet? You know, it's funny, I looked for the longest time, and I don't know why they're not in my basket that I keep with me all the time. And I was going to show you how I transport my magnet. And that's a great question. And the answer is very legitimate. I carry it, of course, it's just not going to be in a regular zip plastic bag. No, it is in this fake looking, for all I know, the way I have bought and sold used collectible items all my life. You know, this is the collection of rocks and minerals you see. But, you know, my collection has extended over the years into different other areas. We won't go into all of them, but this, it looks like, and most likely is, fake crocodile or something to that effect, because it has those kind of scales on it, and a zipper at the top, and it's not very big. It's a black bag. I think it's like the thickness of the leather type material that really cuts down on the magnetic strength, which not too many things do with this type magnet. And so I carry it in there, and I don't even put it in a plastic bag because I have other magnets. It's my magnet bag, and it automatically is going to stick to everything in there anyway. But once it's shielded in there, then I put it in my bag inside a tool type of bag I have, and separated by another shield. And so between those elements, I cut down on the magnet strength enough that it is safe. So even though where I get these magnets, the company puts out a weekly newsletter, which is absolutely fascinating. They come up with all these things you can do, and it actually showed I can take 12 of these particular magnets and align them and put on one of these pans that is, you know, you can use on these stove tops, that the heat is actually generated by a magnetic coil. And you can just do this at home. You can take these magnets, you can set them down and put this pan on top of it and fry an egg. And they show you how you can do it. It is so neat, or to a geek like me. So from that, and then they also did the magnet test with phones, and surprisingly, it had nowhere near any kind of detrimental effect like you think it would, because one of the things it shows you can do is make a car holder by using these magnets for your cell phone. And so then they had to do the test to see if it made a difference or not. So remember, it's magnetic coils that generate those all your little servo motors and all. As a kid, if you ever took the copper wire and unwrapped it around those little motors, you would see that there's magnetic coils to a lot of them and whatnot. So yes, Barbara is so right that magnetism, you could not fly an airplane and make your destination like they do without the magnetic field around the Earth that, of course, science and navigation uses, magnetic north versus true north, and that's changing, by the way. You look that up, that's kind of interesting. So everything from navigation to, let's read on, and I think she covers some of this. So, more on magnetite. Biologic organisms like algae, fish, and birds which migrate have been found to have minute grains of magnetite in their membranes, skull bones, or beaks. Scientists surmise this allows them to tap into Earth's magnetic field and navigate successfully. We unfortunately do not. Yet, now there's an invention waiting to happen. Human GPS. You know, she's not here right now, but the Raven is flying around here very close by. I tease her all the time that she wasn't born with a magnetic chip in her brain like pigeons are. Of course, no humans actually are, but their pigeons are. They have a piece of magnetite in their skull, which that little piece, so if you ever wondered about homing pigeons and all, they can tap into and use Earth's magnetic field. I mean, come on. How does that even, how do we even evolve into beings that have magnetite in their head to be able to navigate? And it's just amazing, isn't it? You know, how evolution causes animals to be able to adapt in ways that is often beyond any kind of regular sense of level that you would think could be done through evolution alone. Of course, that's where it's, you know, the big question, right? Evolution versus, So, but yeah, Miss Barbara is absolutely correct in that, and it is, animals figured it out long before man did, how to get around with. So yeah, so because, you know, bless her heart, Raven, if there's a detour, I mean, she gets literally just absolutely anxious. She had to be here for a show for Sam, and Sam wanted everyone there early, and we live a long way away from here. And if there's any kind of disruption in the traffic, it can really slow things down. Once we get to our part of the world, the country opens up, and we are nothing but countrified. So she had to go a different way because there was an accident on the highway leading to our house, and she had no idea how to get to this network other than the one way that we always go. So she went another way, and I had told her the name of this one store to look for if she ever took this other route, and it's called the Green Bean. So she was so relieved because she wound up and she saw the green bean, so she knew she was that far along, but meanwhile, that's only, you know, she has 3/4 of the way still left to go here. But her GPS finally picked up, and in the country, it's not always very accurate, and took her the way it needed to go, and she got her way, but she was so anxious. But here's the neat thing. You know, I think I've told you before, in the country, we determine how far out and away we are in the country by figuring out how close your nearest gallon of milk is, or how far away your nearest gallon of milk is. And my sister, who lived in Lumpkin County, which is where Dahlonega is, which is where the original gold rush is, she used to be 8 miles away from a gallon of milk. And we are 7 miles away, and 7 miles is a long way to go. And that's one way, so it's a 14-mile round trip. If you take it in my big Hemi truck that only gets 12 miles to the gallon, figure that out, and at the price per gallon, add $3 to $4 to that gallon of milk just to make a trip to the corner store. But luckily here in the country, the nice thing is if you go to that corner store enough times, you're going to be well known, and you're going to be just another good old gal. And so from Ohio to living where we lived for so long, she's gone to that corner store. She knows everybody there, is loved by everybody. And she goes in and she said, tell me how to get to her. And of course, they got her on the right way. The GPS finally picked up where she was and brought her to gem shopping. And, yeah, and she's the one to actually pick the house out, because I had bought enough homes, and this was her first home that we're at, and of course it's a mess still, a real mess. But she of course loves the house and really enjoying it, and glad we could get to stay there. But she didn't really realize how far out in the boonies that she moved us until she has to run to the corner store. So Miss Barbara continues, and she goes on to say, as to the trivia, sapphire and blue topaz are the most popular stones. I would have guessed diamond and jade, but which are durable and come in a range of qualities for all pocketbooks, space olivine is found in palladites. Backlit slices look like cool, cracked stained glass windows. They really do. They really do. Got a 71-point faceted one from the Java meteorite a few years back. That's a nice piece. Java, that would be the Indochina, Indochinites. So Java and Borneo are together. So that's why they call them that. And Indonesia is actually separate from those for countries, but overall it's called Indochina, the entire area through there. And it was just lucky that it would have landed on land, because there's a lot of water all around there that I'm sure many have ended up in. Many more besonites in the ocean. Now, so she says, the 71 point a few years ago, from the coast mine, was an iron mine, variety magnetite. Is there a theme here? Fun show. Glad you had help today. I know, I don't today. Hope the house fix is coming to an end. It's not even halfway. Having people in the house is always stressful. You have no idea. We are country creatures that keep to ourselves, and so yes, that is. But the good thing is you had a reason and help to move your stuff, and hopefully your pipes are now girded against ever having to do this again. Yeah, well, they got the pipes changed, but they haven't sheetrocked it up yet even, so we have time to do that. So this was perhaps the best/worst thing that could have happened. Or is that the best thing? Not sure. Neither are we. Be well and get ready for summer. If this bizarro East Coast warm winter is any indication, summer should be a doozy. I know, Raven and I were talking about that. We see all the flowers in bloom, and it's supposed to get down into the low 30s. And my peach tree is in full bloom, and every year, so it has gotten frozen out for the past several years. We had, then of course, the apple tree, which blooms later than the peach tree. Peach tree is in early bloom this year. We don't know why. So it hopefully won't get totally zapped this weekend, but it's supposed to be like records down here close to 80 today, and by this weekend in the low 30s at night. Wow, that's Georgia. So yeah, but we didn't get the snow, it looks like, that we wanted, that all of you finally got a snowfall up north, I think, a little bit. And of course, out west has got all the water and snow that they wished for. Be careful what you wish for. And yes, back to the house. I talked to the floor guy, Irishman, wonderful fella. He said when he pulled up and saw our decorations in our yard, he wondered if a witch lived there. And I said, well, only a nice, good, kind one, but I have often referenced her that. But in a way, like as in Stevie Nicks, which we saw, Fleetwood Mac, with the songbird, Christine McVie, when everyone was in the band. Probably some of the best, extremely expensive tickets I've ever paid for, but certainly now worthwhile. And so yes, the wonderful witch does have a Stevie Nicks outfit and carries herself in that regard, and also has all the neat potions, I say, the holistic healing items that she has. And I accept any attempt that she wants to make in trying to treat my illnesses, which of course you know all relate back to long COVID. Yes, this summer I dread because it's back to inside because I can't be outside in the Georgia lovely summer. Cindy in Pennsylvania. Hello, Rock family. So nice to see you bright and early on Monday morning. Early St. Patrick's Day with all the emeralds, chrome dioxide, and peridot this week. Yeah, lots of green, wasn't there? I am truly excited to be the winner of the trivia contest this week. Triplite, one of the Shawn's must-haves, has the prize. Woohoo! Love all the gem parcels. Wish I could buy them all for my treasure chest. Exactly. You never know when you're going to need them, so you know, pick up some. And that's how I developed a huge collection. Was I just would buy one parcel here, one parcel there, and over all the years, it ended up to be quite the collection. Answered: sapphire and blue topaz, pallasite for the extra credit, magnetite. Well done on all. Till next week, wishing good things for all. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania. Namibia emeralds, yes please. And I know you didn't mean to say Namibian. I know you meant to say Zambian. It's easy to mix the two up, unless I did. But wishingly, I wish there were some emeralds that coming out of Namibia. But you may have been prophetic, and I'll show you why in a moment, in your use of the country of Namibia. Namibia has amazing things, including incredible garnets. No emeralds, but Zambia certainly does. Zambia, just kind of on the other side of the dark continent. Okay, let's see. I think that's it. So, oh, almost. How could I dare say that? Mr. Anthony, we can't forget you, Mr. Anthony in Massachusetts. Hello all, great show. Okay, what I was saying is, I was trying to say about zircon, I left out most of what you mentioned and what I wanted to find out. You were talking about tenebrescence. I want to know about thermochromism. About a year ago, I received some parcels of gems in partial payment for some money owed to me, tourmaline, garnet, some rough material, and some zircon. Some of the gems were in a gem parcel paper, zircon being one of them, which included the root beer colored thermochromic zircon. With it was a printed card with the same explanation that Miss Gabby had shared. I looked at the card again, and it does actually say the name of GSN's competitor. At least I think it is. You're correct. It is the other three-letter gem named company. Small print at the bottom of the card. Roundabout way to learn something, but lessons have been learned. Thank you. By the way, I was experimenting with a flame and the zircon. Stay tuned. I scored the beautiful round emerald parcel, which were Zambian emeralds, actually. And also the bezel set diamonds. Those were a great buy. Already set, ready to go. They just need to be cleaned beforehand. And yeah, with the metal attached, easy to solder. Trivia: the number one most popular gemstone is sapphire, the second is blue topaz. Pallasite contains gem quality olivine. I believe magnetite is the primary mineral that was mined at Coast Mine in Japan. Correct on all three. Tonight we are supposed to be getting 4 to 8 inches of snow, more likely about a foot. Winter came late this year. Last week the temps were in the 60s, upside down. Yes, it is. Eyes down, and that's where the rocks are. So correct there. So yeah, to clear that up about the thermochromism, Now, there you go. You took a flame and you did exactly what my whole little diatribe last week was about, Mr. Anthony, and that was staying away from experimenting unless you want to attempt to destroy your stone or change it to where it will not change back. And that's where the conversation overlapped with Barbara's conversation with the tenebrescence that someone, a friend of hers, did with Zircon, to where the color changed. And I was addressing that part about how to change the color back to its original color when we're talking about reverse photochromism. That is the other way to say tenebrescence. Now, that conversation overlapped when I was talking about the chameleon diamond and the chameleon diamonds that I found more to be not the official chameleon diamonds, but when I put heat to diamonds, how they would change, and upon cooling, they would change back to their original color. Much relief of mine when I saw them change early on, when I did not realize there was such a high percentage of diamonds that would change upon applying heat to them. But to be a GIA official chameleon diamond, it has to have other properties that we talked about last week. So my point being, Mr. Anthony, was that there's a very narrow area in the Zircon world where the fancy use of the word thermochromism, in other words, color changed by heat, was derived to sell the stones. It was not, and the use of the word I stayed away from with all of you so that everybody wouldn't go do what Anthony's doing right now, and that is applying heat to his zircons and seeing if they will change color, and then they're supposed to change back unless you go past that temperature, which is a very, very small amount of error is all you're allowed between destroying the stone or causing it to change to an unwanted color, never being able to be changed back. So that's why you might have heard the overlapping of the tenebrescence and the thermochromism, because I was saying yes to how to fix the tenebrescence of a zircon that's been altered, but how to stay away from the thermochromic zircons, because it's much easier to destroy them than to find and notice the property that was really more of a selling tool by the place that is offering them, along with their description. And even they carried a warning with that description, but not as big of one that should be along with it. In other words, I didn't ever bring up there being such a thing because they never thought it would be a good idea to do what Mr. Anthony is doing. And that boys are going to be boys. We are going to do what we're not supposed to do, you know? Just like me driving in the mud from where the river overflowed to get back to my house. I could have taken the longer way around, but in my big truck, I said, no, I can do that. And I got me a fancy reward for it. I got it, the girls put it right up on the refrigerator, and I call it my award. They try to call it something else called a ticket. I don't know what they're trying to say by a ticket to us country boys. That's a reward. And if it's not a reward, it's got to be an award. But they put it right there. They must be proud of it. Right there on the refrigerator where you put your little boy's drawings. That's where my reward went. So they must be proud of me, you think? That's the way I took it. There, I did my country boy twice for y'all today. That may be all you might hear for the next 2 years. But that's exactly what I did. And this little guy, Exactly. I was being natural. That's just what you do in Georgia. You don't go 10 miles around out of the way. You go. Oh, there you go. Asif said, I'm just talking natural. Even Asif, born in Pakistan. See, Georgia can change anybody's accent to being a good old boy. You just got to spend a few dozen years here. Now, that is Latif over there. Latif, he comes by it naturally. He is from South Georgia. But that's a little... Exactly. He is really a true Southern Georgia boy. But now, see, that's almost too close to Florida, and he doesn't have as much of an accent as some of us up here, country hillbillies. That's where you get the hillbilly. You got to have a hill. Down there where he's from, there's no hills. I've been down there. I worked the Zale show at Albany. Which you got to make sure you say, yeah, you got to make sure you say, it's not like Albany, New York. Oh, no, we do not say it in the Yankee version of it. Exactly. Didn't I get it right? Did I get it right?
Got it.
Albany. See, he just confirmed. That, I think, is his closest big town. And believe me, I've been to Albany. It's not very big. Yeah, it's like maybe a 2-liter. Yeah.
No, it's 2-3 exits.
Ooh, it got another exit on the interstate.
75.
Ooh, got another exit. It's a double exit. He's laughing about, this guy loves his family so much. I'm afraid we're going to lose him back to South Georgia. So here, big, beautiful mountains up here in North Georgia, all this wonderfulness, but it doesn't beat just good old kinfolk. And his kinfolk keep calling him, trying to call him back down south. And I just, be ashamed to lose Latif. Been here a long time. Asif's between now we're really talking years. I just went from Dave, who had a mixed career here, to Latif and Asif, who both have been here nonstop for a long time. Add a couple more longs onto that. Yeah. So 2021. 2021. Okay, so we got a 21-year veteran and a 20-year veteran, and I'm only kicking that close to 15. So I'm still a newbie when you get around these guys. Okay, so back to Zircon. Mr. Anthony, you're going to say, I wished I would have listened better to that episode of Shawn's. I think yeah. Because the message was in there, Mr. Anthony. You just didn't want to pay attention to it. So you're going to get you one of them rewards also, I'm afraid. And I think in your case, it's going to be in the form of a worthless zircon. Already the color that you started with wasn't a real valuable color. It's the ones they make turn into white ones. And but like I said, us boys, if we're told we can't do something or aren't supposed to do something, first thing we're going to do is we're going to do it. I just wish the women in our lives would understand that, probably get along a little bit better. Just, that's what a 6th grade education gets you.
6?
I just said 6th. I mean, I'm the bright one of the bunch.
Like all that learning, man.
That's exactly right. From the school marm. Yep. 1st through 12th grade had the same school marm in every grade. 12. I think that was in 12 years old. I don't think that had anything to do with grades. Yeah, that would put it about right, 6th grade. If you watch the Beverly Hillbillies, giving away my age, that's actually I use that age grade because that's Jethro Bodine. That's the grade that he made it to, and he was the smart one amongst all the Beverly Hillbillies, except that lucky shot that Jed took and hit the Earl. He hit that Earl in the ground. Yep. Oh, Texas tea. Okay. Back to what we're really all about is enjoying our jobs, right? Miss Kathleen, she says, hello, Shawn and everybody else. Thank you for another great and educational show. Thank you. You mentioned that it was going to warm up quickly in your area, turning into spring and then summer. I really wish that would happen for us as well. I really dislike the cold. Uh-oh. I just ruined that. We, for me, it just turns hot down here too quickly and too long. Have a great week. Trivia. Let's see. You getting all the ones right? Yep. Number 2, right. Number extra credit, right. Good job. Charles says, ciao, Professor Shawn, GSN crew, and Rock family. I wasn't able to watch the entire show this week, so no trivia from me. Perhaps a Sasquatch stole all your apples, Shawn. You know what? You're talking to a believer. Oh, yes. Both Raven and I, we want to believe that there's an 8-foot creature running around in our woods. Remember, if you actually followed any of those Bigfoot shows, they actually included Georgia in them multiple times. That's because people back in the hollows in Georgia are a little easy to fool. So this is a true story. I'm going to tell you a true story. This is a true story. And it actually is about a true Bigfoot television program that ran for years, and an episode that happened. And so they used this particular event in that was taken right near Dahlonega in Lumpkin County, where my sister lives, and at the time where my son was going to college. Oh yeah, okay, college. Let's see, how's that going to play into this? Well, this is where boys will be boys and fraternity, frat brothers, will be just that, whatever that is. Oh yeah, there's an ape suit involved. You can imagine. I saw that night on my own television at home on the 11 o'clock news where this big story made, and they had the dash cam video of a big hairy Sasquatch running across the road that comes right out of Dahlonega, which goes past North Georgia College. It's also military academy, hence why my son was there. Okay, are you seeing this picture starting to form now? The picture was so real looking that, okay, wow, that can happen, right? I believe in Sasquatches and Bigfoot. That's a Bigfoot that ran across the road. The cop actually stops his car. He gets out. He runs in the woods. So he goes and he starts with another policeman, sheriff, we're in the county, knocking on doors in the area surrounding this, wanting to see if anyone else had any other experiences. Well, he knocks on this one door, and all he saw was a bunch of college kids go scooting around the corner, and the mom comes to the door and just, says, no, I don't know anything about that. We haven't seen anything, no experiences, nothing like that. Mm-mm. By midnight or a little bit thereafter, that's it when it unraveled. That's when my son got his reward. He got his reward like I'm proud of mine. I'm just lucky that his didn't come with a big fine. Now, a fine is where you give the money, it goes from you to the sheriff's department. It's not the fine where, it's fine, he let me off the hook. No, it's not that kind of fine. No, it's the bad kind. Because I found out the truth. He knew the whole story. They, of course, maybe only a little bit of the local brew, AKA moonshine, was involved, but only probably just a little sampling. Yeah. And one of them, not my son, thank goodness, but he was not far away from the ones that got the reward. Yep, dressed up and was running back and forth. He was running back and forth so many times until odds had it that he ran right in front of the sheriff's car with the camera on. The sheriff didn't buy it. So the sheriff knew right then that it was, he's not a believer like me. So, therefore, the only thing he believed in was finding the perpetrator of said crime. In the end, it embarrassed the sheriff's department because this went on TV as a real event. Next thing I know, my son was in Afghanistan. I wonder if there's a correlation to that. No, it all turned out all right, you know. Boys will be boys. All right, with that, we have the ending of what Mr. Charles has to say about, since he started it with bringing up the possible Sasquatch. And that was in reference to me saying I had over 200 apples on a tree, best crop I ever had on this tree. And literally all those apples, which were just probably about a week away from picking, you know, you're just saying, oh, just a couple more days because it's the sugar content in them you look for. Remember, my uncle had 200 acres of apples. Know a little bit about apples and a little bit about Applejack, the cereal. What else could I have been talking about, huh? Nothing else they call Applejack down here. So, I am. My nose is growing. So, in regards to the apples, they were all there, and from one night to the next morning, every one of them gone. Every one of them gone off that tree, and not a single one on the ground. No branches broken. Absolute true mystery. No way a deer could have gotten up there. No way a bear, he would have broken branches. It's the oddest thing. All right, so it sounds impossible for bears to be that thorough and not have enough dexterity to not break the branches. Our lapidary, okay, then he ends it, and he wanted to talk about gems and jewelry again. Wow. Our lapidary studio is coming along nicely. Heidi and I took a trip up to Seattle over the weekend to purchase a 1960s Lortone vibratory flat lap. Doesn't matter what year you get that kind of used equipment. It is absolutely usable and will run fantastic, and you'll save a lot of money. We've been looking for a deal on one for a long time. Our first project is to polish up some wood-colored Brazilian agate slabs to use as drink coasters. Furthermore, we are officially joining our local gem and mineral club this week, something we should have done years ago. Yes, absolutely should have done years ago. Congrats, Cindy, on winning the Triplite. Those are some big specimens. Wishing the whole Rock family a wonderful week. With love, Charles, and love back at you, Charles, from me and all of us to all of you out there in Rockland. So, yes, the used equipment I am a big purveyor of and believer of, and you can save a lot of money. Make sure on your flat lap that you get the rings that go around the subject so they don't vibrate and bump into each other. And I don't know what size it is, if it's 15 inch or 30 inch or whatnot, but when you change out from moving from one grit to the other, of course, the real key is to make sure you clean all the grit that is so important from your previous, off of your lap. And it's not so much the grit that's always in the pan, of course, because that's the easiest thing to clean. It's the grit that is gotten splashed up onto the agate slab outside of a geode or inside a geode or in the little crevices of a slab. Those little places can spoil a fine mirror polish for you. You can still develop a polish if there's some, but oftentimes you'll wonder, why am I not getting that mirror polish? It's because you have a little bit of contamination from the prior grit that you used. And that's my 2 cents for you on that one. Okay, so we got everybody covered here, so now it was only down to picking the winner. And this week's winner was, and came out to be, lucky Miss Barbara. Miss Barbara in Brooklyn, let's show you your prize. And this is something that if you have not gotten one of yet from me, Miss Barbara, then again, the magic has worked as well, once again. The pseudomorphs, those incredible pseudomorphs of the malachite that replaced azurite crystals. And the azurite crystals are really, really obvious, especially when you get this in person. And one more thing, and I'll talk long enough if you could come here, Mr. Latif, and so I can show, because I didn't have room in the descriptor to put all the information. So I want to show you that not only does this have malachite that replaced azurite, but it also has, let me get a pointer here, and Mr. Latif, could you come for just a minute and zoom in on something? Mm-hmm. Thank you. Okay, so first let's cover the crystals and just show you how well defined these are. These are some of the largest crystals of a pseudomorph, where you have the malachite, and in person this specimen is so much better defined than what you can, well, see, you're seeing it now as I turn the angles better. You can see how well sharply defined they are. A couple of large ones, many other smaller ones. But here, okay, so the red you have limonite. This is limonite, so this is an iron oxide. Now, let's flip it over though. You see that goethite in the description, so let me show you where that is. So look at this. Not only do you have some other beautiful crystals, but as we zoom in, right here, you'll see the botryoidal formation of the goethite, which, let me show you, right here it is, a bigger version. If you don't see those botryoidal formations, let's just show you this larger one for a moment that you might have seen in the past in the background. Look at that. So this is goethite. You've seen that. Look at that. Doesn't need to be zoomed in. That is, you can see how large that specimen is. So that's been in the backdrop. I've offered that for sale so many times for so little money. I can't believe no one has gotten that yet. All right, so you see the goethite, but that's not the end of it. Remember, that's also a form of iron oxide. There's one more iron oxide, and you can see it right in these areas. If we come in all that we can, you'll see, look at those little shiny areas, almost looks like graphite, but you have that on both sides, and what you're looking at here it is hematite. So you have hematite, goethite, and limonite. You have 3 iron oxides right there, and then you have the malachite replacing azurite, which are both copper carbonates. So a really interesting and unusual specimen, especially as a freebie, because this is from, and this will be in, I say the information space I had on the tag was room for me to put that it's from the Tsumeb mine in Namibia. And this mine, of course, is closed now, and the Tsumeb mine is one of the most famous mines in the world for producing outstanding and very rare and beautiful and desirable collectible specimens when you have something from that particular mine. So there you go. Congratulations to Miss Barbara in Brooklyn on getting a really nice goodie. And let me tuck that away, and we'll be back with the start of the show. This is a parcel of 3. Yeah, I'm not selling these independently. You get all 3 of these, and I'm not even going to waste time and hold out the price, because I'm going to tell it to you right away so you can run to the phone. And for all 3 of these, I'm out of my mind, but that's been well known. $48. I know, you know, when I have Latif, you know I'm going to get a kickback on that, and the kickback, not the good kind, as in giving me back money. No. Kickback is like blowback, or like, yeah, like her, Shawn, you're giving that stuff away. I know. So, $16 each is the average. It's a parcel of all 3. This is really amazing aventurine. And when you look at this closer, for one thing, look at how the bale, it's drilled. So it's drilled through, sterling silver, nice large bale, and this has some of the most obvious formation of what really makes aventurine what it is known for, and that is a quartz with inclusions of fuchsite, which is a chromium-bearing mica, and or it just also has little reflective areas of mica, and it's got a band of them going right through here. You can kind of see it. Let me look on the bigger TV one. Oh, there we go. Excellent job. Right there. There's the band of them. Latif make sure that I didn't make a fool out of myself and just made that up. Look at that. That's, see what I mean? Out of all the aventurine, it's one of the most clarified images I've been able to see, where it, you know, for one thing, you're getting a real deal, because aventurine is a, to glassmakers, a name that has been known for being a man-made item, but in this case, it is, the name was applied to a type of quartz they discovered with the green coloring and these little reflections in it. And this, again, like I said, shows some of the best reflections and honoring the true description of it. See that? Look at that. You can see those in there. Most of the time, they're not large enough to be that visible. Then we have the picture jasper in the next piece, which is obvious name, amazing scenes. Picture jasper looks so much like so many Western scenes. Again, the flexible bale and double-sided. Look at that, beautiful on both sides. And then snowflake obsidian, which we did a trivia question on as to what forms the snowflakes in natural obsidian like this. And you should know from that little educational experience that it is another mineral called cristobalite. There you go, everything that you want to know about 3 inexpensive sterling silver pendants that you will never find anywhere else. And no, there's not another set of 3, that's it. So that's one of those first come, first serve items. Now, this next item, which is going to be item, can't wait to go to the eye doctor, 1093523. 1093523. We'll just put that up right down here, and I'm going to move this just down a little bit. Okay, check this out. That is a sterling silver Peridot cross, and we were just talking about Peridot, right? So perfect timing on that. And it has a really nice large center stone, these 4 other small round stones, a really nicely done piece. And let me show you how also it's thick it is. Look at that, how well that is made. Just a really pretty piece. And Latif is going to give us a little closer look to it. And then when I tell you the price, that's when you're going to run to the phone, or if you're not still on it, ordering the other item I just showed, and just add this one to it if you want, because it is at a reduced opportunity, making it only $44. $44 on that. Yeah, that's where you could tear it apart and scrap it and get that much for it. Really nice opportunity if someone wants it. And remember, the Easter season is upon us right now. You know, it goes from Ash Wednesday. You know, I brought up Catholic, so know a little bit about those things. And so a really great item at this time of year. Now, since I showed you a cross, let me also show you one more, give you a choice. And yes, it is going to be in beautiful material. It is item 1088722. 1088722. Now, look at this. Malachite. And we were just talking about malachite, weren't we? Look at the back. Look at how much gold has been used, not only in a really a reverse design, because you could wear this either way, but also for support. Look at the end caps, nicely made, and then look at the beautiful malachite, which is in this piece. You can see some stripes in this bar, but has just a really nice even color tone and a lot of weight in gold. Since we offer this at an amazing value, I really have no room to go because it was $68. But you know, it's one of those that we're getting to the point where I could take this thing apart, and if it has 2 grams of gold in it, it's more than the last price I had, which was $68 on it. And you rejected that, and I'd almost find it difficult not to for there not to be 2 grams of gold. So I tell you what, this is the last time I'm going to showcase it. Then unfortunately after that, it'll either go to another show, but probably for the amount of money, I probably won't, because it's below a lot of what other shows offer or their clients are used to seeing. So, but not in this show. This is Shawn's discount bargain bin. We're going to do this. It's the last and final price, and if at the end I have to do what I have to do to clear the estate, make it $64. And so after that, unfortunately, I have to answer to the estate and clear the money on it. So that would be taking it apart, which I know by the weight alone, you know, I can actually figure by the specific gravity of knowing them of both materials and doing the water in and weight in the water and weight out of the water, calculate, but we won't get into that part. That's the fun stuff. That's my really going nerd on you. But at $64, there is lots of opportunity. Yeah. And if you didn't know what you would want to do with it right now, it would be great to just to put up until that opportunity came along for you. Yeah, so let me look at that number with magnification. 10867, that might make a difference. 722. I am so sorry. Yeah, it makes a difference in finding it, doesn't it? Thank you, Mr. Latif. Okay, so getting back to the gram weight. So look at the gram weight. That's a total gram weight when we have used grams like that. And so that's a gram weight of the whole piece. And yeah, malachite's heavy, but so is 14 karat gold. And just from my experience, it would not take a lot of gold, only 2 grams to get beyond, 2 grams to get beyond the value of $64. Because right now, 14 karat gold the melt value. In other words, what is the value of the actual gold in the piece is running around $32 a gram for 14 karat. So to get to $64, all you need is 2 grams of gold. And with the caps, with the back on that, with the bail and all that, I think that would be easy to get to. And so, again, making it a outstanding value. Again, even if you don't need it, when you can buy a dime for a nickel, you should buy it every day, wouldn't you? Well, that's what you have to look at when you think of opportunities like this. It's like when they come up, and you know, you may. The only problem is I always said when that term would come up, I said, yeah, but you have to have the nickel, and then you have to be able to take that nickel and turn it into the dime for that process to work. Well, in the case of gold, it's not a big deal to find any place that will convert that to cash dollars for you. Just find a place you're used to working with, fair opportunity, and you'll come out just fine. Now, let me show you. I have another goodie here that I know should go pretty quick if you appreciate value at all. This is item 1105. Now I'm going to look at this before I send Latif on a 1105623. 1105623. And again, what a great item for the season. Coming up, you're going to see something really cool. Now, I don't know if any of you took advantage of that opportunity I had on all those eggs that I offered, but if you didn't, you missed out, and you should go back and grab it. Or maybe you're just going to let this piece come back to me, because I don't think I'm going to show it more than once. Because if you don't recognize the opportunity and value on this, because let me show you, sorry about that, Latif, let me show them the iridescence on this, because what I'm doing is hiding the prettiest part of this egg. And I'm not necessarily hiding it. It was intentionally carved, obviously, to show and be, now this is like an opal, so work your magic as if it was. Let me see if we can bring out the incredible iridescence. And this is rainbow obsidian. So in the case of rainbow obsidian, this is centered directly in the middle and has concentric bands. You can lightly see them coming away from there, but we have that. Oh, we do normally turn off that big light, by the way. You can see the concentric bands, and they are, and we'll maybe be able to pull the color up here for you in just a moment, because of the multiple different wavelengths. It and coming from different angles, it confuses the inclusions in the obsidian, and it doesn't know how to react. But there we go. That was it. That was the trick. But as in if it was the sunlight. So now what we're doing is, what we've done differently is we have one direct light source on it, as like the sun. So we're replicating what it would look like in the sun, which is what everything should be shown at is your closest replication to the sun. There's a beautiful purple and green in here. You can see this, and to the my own eye, everything is even better than what you're seeing. It's really green in the middle. There's a much more intense purples around it. Look at these beautiful concentric rings. Ah, Latif is bringing out those colors. Look at that purple. Look at that green center. Then you have two purples. You have a purple here, then a lighter lavender purple there. Other outer bands, kind of like looking at out into space. I can see all kinds of rings in there. The multiple rings of Saturn. Latif is a smart man. He knows more about stuff like that than I do even. And then look at the other end. So obsidian is one of those items that is the banding and the light travels in one direction. So if it's on one end, it will be on the opposite end, just like the star in like a rose quartz sphere. The star will, wherever it appears, it will also be on the opposite side of a sphere. And nowhere else. It won't be in between, and that's the way it forms. So you can see this and the circles on either end of this, and in between, look at this, you can see some of the banding as well, and you can see that when it has little places like that, that's natural. You almost want that in there, except they haven't really been able to synthesize anything like the wonderful natural obsidians. This obsidian, now rainbow obsidian can come from Mexico as well, but the Davis Creek rainbow obsidian is known for, well, being some of the most beautiful, and that's where this has come from. So it comes with a little stand as well, and which you can easily replace or do something else with. You can see the rings coming all the way down it, and the price on this guy is a run to the phone kind of opportunity in pricing with the stand. $18. Only $18 on that guy. Now, while you're there, Mr. Latif, I'm going to give you another number. And that number is going to be 1105. 1105723. And we're going to stay on the same track here and show you a stepped up version of an egg, including a stepped up version of the stand. So we'll put them side by side so you can see the difference in the dimensions of what a 2.5 inch by 1 3/4 inch egg gets you versus the size that this egg was. So we'll take this one away. We'll put this one over here. And now you can see a little bit more detail and whatnot into it. Look at this. So this, can you guess? Well, you've already read what it is. Bird's eye riolite. You've seen this riolite. We've used it in some of the handles of the gemstone knives. You've seen it in other forms as well. And when you look at this at particular angles, you start getting an idea. So look at the circle here, and then look at the banding of circles. It's all in the way and direction that you take the rough, and which way you polish it is how these come out. These, and I was just watching a TV show that some kid was playing with those rings that interconnect, that you're somehow supposed to disconnect them and put them together. I never could figure that out. You know what I'm talking about? Those metal rings that you slam together and they're supposed to, I don't know. People, that's just magic and illusions and that kind of thing. You know, I guess that's why I'm bad at this, because I am not able to fool any of you or create an illusion of value where there isn't one. Nope, what you see is honesty, and what you get is the truth. But look at these. So the bird's eyes, that's where you get the bird's eyes. That's why you have bird's eye maple, bird's eye walnut. It's all when basically like bird's eye walnut and whatnot, it's a knot hole. In most cases, something you wouldn't want in wood, but in other cases, it makes for a more valuable and expensive wood. Nobody really wants their wood just with the straight banding of it. what gives wood beauty, like in yellow pine, and offsets redundancy, is when it has knot holes in the wood and natural places in it. Like I had a house one time on the lake that one of the bedrooms was done, well actually it was made as part of a music studio room previously, and it had barnyard wood on the walls. Literally wood that was from a barn. And I had, when I was redoing the house, I had more people wanting to buy that wood from me, because of course now the big thing you see on TV is people obtain that wood and they build these homes out of it. Basically it's antique wood. And after they gave me all that information and knowledge about it, I thanked them very much, and I kept the wood myself and used it in the room after a nice refinish on it. And that's sometimes what educating someone too much can do, is you shoot yourself in the foot, as they did, because I didn't know about the value to such a thing until they told me. But I asked the right questions and was my probing self, as if it was a rock, and yeah, I found out, so I didn't get taken advantage of, and they didn't get their wood. I got to keep something that was more precious than I realized. And anyway, this is a real neat, unique pattern, and for the price, with the wooden stand of still the same as the other, $18 on this one. That's all, $18 on that. So special piece. All right, let me take a moment and put up some of these items, and we'll be back. Check this out. All right, so we already talked about pseudomorphs this morning. Pseudomorph is an item that substitutes or replaces the other item, as in when the malachite takes over and replaces the azurite, one molecule at a time. Well, that can happen in many other instances, one of them being this one, which I have not shown in years, actually. This is from a mine that I actually know the mine that it came from in Keoka land in Namibia. And this is goethite that you see. Since we already showed you a big specimen of that, we talked about that as well, in iron oxide. It's goethite after pyrite, 8 crystals, and it's from the Ondara mine, and also has limonite. Limonite is going to be some of the reddish oxidation that you see on this. Okay, so if these look like the crystals that you see pyrite looking like, you know, all those square cubes, cube on cube, and also with striations and sides that, look at that, perfect little squares there. Well, those are obvious pyrite crystals, right? Well, they were, until the goethite comes along and replaces the pyrite. Goethite being an iron oxide, pyrite is an iron sulfide. But boy, they, look at that, from the stair-step crystals that you see in pyrite, they are exact copies of what was once. And look at those striations even down the side, like you see on pyrite crystals, you see those striations. So anyway, that's just one of, I'll just flash these in. I have 2 others. You can see 8 crystals, all very, very similar, and all similar in weights. You know how fair I am when it comes to that, so that every parcel looks like the other. So 3 people, 3 chances, or 1 person, you can get all 3 if you want, as long as you keep them and use them, because these are only $16 a parcel. $16 a parcel, meaning all 3 would only cost you $48 if you took all 3, or 3 of you have an opportunity to get in on this. So when you're talking about pseudomorphs like that, and you're from such a unique locality in Namibia, and knowing exactly the locality, which often gets lost over time, but you know how I am about that, giving you all that information that I can possibly give you, which to a mineral collector, you should want to know that. If you're not into making sure you ask the mineral dealers, where is this from? Press people on that. Oftentimes, not oftentimes, most of the time, if a dealer, unless it's buying an estate of items and then I have to figure it out, if they don't know and have enough information on their specimen, I won't buy it. If I don't want to know, I want to know where something originated from. That adds so much value. That would be like having a Tiffany lamp in your home and selling it in a garage sale as if, you know, your uncle made it, when if you only had and knew this one little stamp on it could make, you know, your life totally different by way of hitting the big one. Well, you're only going to know that if you have the information behind it to realize it or know where to find it on a specimen. Many specimens give away their origin by being able to tell other particular minerals that associate with it, and for other certain formations, and certain minerals are only found in one or two particular places. So I've over the years have shown you how to determine origin by tracing back other associated mineral specimens with a particular piece. So because some mines only may have a combination of 4 other minerals associated in one specimen, and other mines may not have all 4 ever seen together, and things like that. So anyway, here's a chance, 3 different ones, $16. They make a great gift as well, because this is something that a mineral collector will not have. Pseudomorphs are difficult to come by. And so I offer you the opportunity on that one. Take advantage of it. Okay, now I have some other jewelry items that I am going to present to you that I hope you take advantage of. I would hate to be sending all of these upstairs to the other shows. I'm giving you the first opportunity on another amazing deal. This is 1105423. 1105423. And how about this? How about this? Look at that. Against my hand, you get an idea of size. These, the real deal. Peridot and vermeil. Now, if you're not familiar with vermeil, I probably should just put sterling up there. So vermeil is a heavy, it has to be a particular thickness, micron thickness of gold that has been continuously plated on top of sterling silver. And that only then can it be called vermeil. If it's just gold plate, then it's gold plated sterling silver. But vermeil is a much thicker coating and will last a long time. These are all peridots, nicely, what do they say, matched and mated. That's not terminology I use, but I'll rob it this one time. You can see the double safeties, so it becomes an invisible clasp, very secure with the 2 figure 8s, and it is 7.5 inches long, so it would accommodate and you bigger wrist if needed. You can see it against my arm for just the moment there. So there you go. Now, look at this. Imagine, so I even counted all the peridots. There's 107 stones, and just taking the average weight of a 5x3, which I looked it up with information I use for being able to do that with a particular stone without having to take a stone out and weigh one for an average. I have other methods to my madness, and the entire price on the entire item is going to be less than what the peridots alone would be worth. $138. Only $138. So you have 107 stones. So guess what? Let's do a little bit of math here. Not a lot, just a little. How about $1.20? $1.20 each, and I throw in all the labor and the sterling silver, which there's a lot of weight to that. You can see 33 grams, roughly over, well, with the stones, if you back out the way of the stones, etc. You have an ounce of sterling silver, and you have 107 stones, a total price of $138. It doesn't matter which way you take the math and divide it up, that is inexpensive and far less than what it would have originally cost. But again, as part of that estate, that's how you get those kind of deals. Only going to be one, and there's only going to be one chance, because I figure if it's going to sell, that's all it should take is this one presentation. After that, to save time, etc., it will go elsewhere. Or I will absolutely take it apart and sell off the stones as parcels and collect the value of the silver. But it would be a shame, because there's 107 set stones there that someone had to take the labor to do, that is lost all the way around. All right, let me show you item 1105 523. 1105 523. And in this, giving you another chance, since remember, Miss Gabby herself said on that one bracelet that that she was able to pick up, that she knows what she paid for something that she had gotten. It was years ago, was far more expensive and had far less of material than what she got from this show. Here we go. Here's another deal: smoky quartz and lemon quartz. And look at that. Look what had to be done. That's actually 12 by 8 millimeters, which is not a calibrated size stone. So these had to be made, or the bracelet had to be made for these particular shape and size stones, which again, when they're not calibrated, you don't find that. So here is a fantastic chance. It is sterling silver. You can see it has the safety catch and this neat designer catch there. And you see it right there. It actually doesn't look all too bad, even on my wrist. Here we go. Ready, set, say sold, because I have this one. Wow. Okay, Latif. Don't want to hear anything. $78. 78. I know. $78. I know. But then no one will buy it. No one will buy it. So what? Is it going to take the larger audience upstairs? No. Someone out there, one of you guys have to realize the opportunity you're getting firsthand on that. Yeah. So now let me show you this one I had featured before, but I thought, well, there were a lot of items, and with the way the shows, the way we presented the shows for a few weeks there was a little disjointed. So I think some of you might have missed some of these items. So let me show you this one once again, because I think everybody has missed out on a deal. This is 1101 723. 1101 723. And we're looking at another bracelet piece. And this has lots of quartz also, but has a few other goodies. Look at that. Look at that neat blend of colors. So you have, let me get my pointer, smoky quartz, and all these wouldn't fit. I just put mixed gemstones, so you have to listen to my description of what they are, so that when you buy this, you'll know what they are. All right, so we have really, really interesting cushion cut in a checkerboard cut, nice large size, smoky quartz, amethyst, citrine. Then we have, look at that, garnet. You can check it for magnetism to see if it's almandine or anything else magical. Almandine will be the iron garnet, so it will be magnetic to that, but you never know. You could end up with a spessartine. You could end up with grossular being in that color range. Then you have what looks like more of a natural color, citrine blue topaz. So that, I think, covers them right there. Then they are in a repetitive pattern. 36 stones. Easily lower estimated weight, because I'm always play it conservative, of 45 carats, 37 gram total weight. Look at this, nicely made. Double figure 8 safeties, yes. And there we have it. Price, well, I'm sure that if I showed it once before, that you're looking for a better deal, are you? Well, okay, fine. I play hardball, huh? All right, well, this was only $88 before, which is kind of laughable when I think about the total weight and what those stones would actually cost if you had to buy them in the market. But anyway, let's do this. Let's go ahead and make it worthwhile to show it again for you and give you an opportunity to get it even less, which is what you're spoiled by. $78. $78 on that guy. And there's only going to be one, and when it's gone, there's not going to be any other. So if there was any time you wanted to buy one of those dimes for nickels, or in some of these cases, I think more like a quarter for a nickel or a quarter for a dime, you do the math. You figure out the percent of discount from original price, that is, which, oh yes, I can do that too, but useless knowledge. That's like not having that a magnetic chip in your head. Let's look at item 1105, 823, 1105, 823, and what does this bring us? This is, I think, one of those pieces that go with the time of year that we just talked about. Yep, the Christian holiday season of Easter. Look at this. Look at this. This, men's or ladies, you can see the nice size to it. Baltic amber is a not one of those feminine stones, so it's a feminine or masculine in pieces of jewelry. So this is a wonderful item, can be worn by anybody. You can see the size of it, nice size to it. But it gives me the rare opportunity to show you spangles, or as other people will, there's different names given to them. Baltic amber, often after it is mined, is a cloudy type of stone, very often. And actually, anytime you see these spangles, someone else called them, what, chrysanthemums or type flowers? I don't know. I just always like to stick with one word when it comes to these things, and something that always kind of reflects, get it, the pun here, the intended, reflects what the item actually is. So if you say a spangle, it kind of describes what we're looking at more so than talking about a type flower or anything else. All right, see these reflective discs? That's another good description of them, but people like to make descriptions more fanciful often. You can see that in them, I can see them actually in every one. There's smaller ones in here. So it tells me that all of these stones, when the material was originally found, was probably its classic Baltic amber color, which is oftentimes a little bit cloudy. So they heat the material up just to the right temperature. This is, again, where heating, you can ruin it or improve it. So we'll ask Mr. Anthony there how his little Zircon project comes out, and give him a week or two, and then if we don't hear anything him bragging about what a great job and how fun it was, then we know it went south, and little boys will be little boys, and he should have done what I said, which was keep the heat away from zircons. You will regret it. That was the bottom line lesson in a few words instead of my long diatribe. Now, these spangles are absolutely indicative of the material having been heated up. That is what the telltale it leaves behind, are these little reflective discs. And but it's okay. It's done to almost all the material, widely accepted, and a lot of people actually like them. There's some that have more spangles than anything, and people think that that's part of the way it's found and think it's beautiful when they see those. But for me, I would still take an original piece of amber, not heated whatsoever. But that would be me, which is not like everyone else. Now, this kind of material, amber, you keep it away from just about everything, but you can keep it clean with soap and water. But a soft cloth rubbed on this will shine it all up. Even the silver cloth used to polish this material, which I actually used, will also help give you a final polish on the amber. All right, price on this guy is a excellent opportunity. Once again, let me find my, yeah, here we go. So we can just lean it up against something for the moment while I look at that basement discount opportunity. $48 on that. And if you went to the Baltic countries, you would be offered pieces like this, multiples. So many people think when they go to the source that you can buy something less expensive. That's not the way it is. I've been to 6 and 7 continents. Which takes me to all the jewelry centers. Of course, I would go to the jewelry centers, and so I would look price. I would get get a feel for what these items sell for, and that was even bargaining down, because I know there's a price built in for the American tourists who just simply do not bother to negotiate price. And as you walk away and they're laughing behind your back because everybody else does in the countries negotiate price, and they say, yep, typical American, I just double my money more than I get from the regular people, which is about the way it would be. So negotiate. So with negotiating down and factored into these situations, so I negotiate down, then I'd walk away. It wouldn't make some of them very happy, but at least I knew what their bottom dollar price is, because guess what? When you walk away, that's when you get the final discount price. That's when you know what they'll come down to and are able to come down. Walk away. Be willing to walk away. And keep walking if they don't. And I have had them coming, running after me, playing that game of who's going to turn around first and really want it bad enough to either go back and pay the dealer's price, or the dealer willing to accept the price offered enough to come back and get me, or not even the price offered, the price he's willing to come back and start anew at the process. So anyway, enough Americans don't do that they start off with this high price and then you negotiate down, and so don't be laughed at behind your back. Negotiate. So with that factored in, like I said, I was able to get the real value of things, what they are willing to sell for. And believe me, they have foreign costs. They have to pay what I have to pay. They mark up the way they have to mark up. And all of the prices would be higher than what I'm offering you right now on these pieces. So you don't have to travel the world to find out that you'll pay more for something like this over there after all that airfare and whatnot than you could get right here, right now. So don't walk away, just say sold. Okay, now, next. What is in this little bag? Let me see. Okay, oh, this is a goodie. This is a goodie. All right, let's look at this. It is a perfect item for this time of year. Let's look at item 1105 and 923. 1105, 923. And what you get here, how about some shamrocks? So the Irish flooring guy, he knew that there was Irish somewhere in our family because we saw the Celtic cross walking in, and that either meant witch or Irish. I think he actually thought witch first. Look at that, shamrocks here. So he saw a green shamrock, so he knew that there was an Irish side. Of course, my name being what it is, my son's name being what it is as well. Very Irish. And Raven's mom's maiden name, last name was O'Neill. So that, very Irish as well. Look at those, Iolite, but not Irish Iolite. Iolite from Madagascar, cut into the shape of hearts. The hearts, of course, looking very much like shamrocks. 14 karat gold. You can see that they're roughly quarter carats, and it's a nicely made piece, stamped right there for you. And look at that. The time it would take to cut a heart shape, wow. Latif knows that would take time. And price though on this, well, that's another matter. It doesn't reflect actual anything because it's such a deal. How about this? Only $68. Only $68. 14 karat gold. Wow. All right, let me have a moment here and get some of these things put right back in their perspective bags. I'll be right back. Look at this. Look at this. Okay, so Myanmar, which is Burma. I still like to call it Burma, but I am sure they would appreciate if I would call it their pre-English word for their country versus after they were occupied by, someone else, where the sun didn't set on the British Empire. I've actually been along the Burma Railroad. I've been into Burma. That was an experience for another day. Look at this, diamonds, amethyst, and lavender jadeite. This actually has a nice lavender tone to it, about as intense as most lavender jadeite comes, unless you're talking about a lot of that dyed material. A lot of dyed material out there. There's many ways to be able to tell the difference if you loop it and look at it, and in any of the crevices or fissures or any open areas in the material, if there is a darker color tone than the base color that you see around that area, then the color tends to concentrate in those little voids, those little spaces, and you can see that, and that's its main tell. So when it doesn't have it, that's the best sign you can see, provided that it is jadeite to start with. There's a lot of quartz material that is used, and because there's a lot of quartz silica that actually forms with and along with the jadeite, and you can see that even in nephrite material, and that's acceptable as long as you have some with it. But natural jadeite with the material, or natural nephrite. So in a piece like this, you can tell it's all solid and even in one color, and you have the real deal. So someone obviously also wouldn't set diamonds with something that wasn't of value. You have a enhancer bail. So this bail opens and closes, and so clips in between pearls or over a necklace that might have a big catch that wouldn't normally work, etc. Half carat of diamonds, 14 karat gold. You can see that size. Perfect, wonderful blend of the amethyst going along with the lavender color in the jadeite. So when I saw some other pieces watching a show that sold a lot of jadeite, it was amazing to see the value compared to my discounted value on this piece, which let's just go ahead and make it ridiculous. I will discount it one more time before it goes elsewhere. Normally, not at all on these, but why not? Why not? $298. Only $298 on that. And wait. Let's do this. Make it $258. Make it $258. Wow. There we go. That should interest somebody indeed. Now, this piece, again, perfect for this time of year. We have 109-2022. 109-2022. And this will be last opportunity for you to get in on this one. And let me show you. Wow. This has always been, when I've seen this style, and I have set this style up before. One of my favorite designs in a diamond cross. And I actually set this piece up. So it tells you right there that I'm very familiar with it. Extra large bale, which most people appreciate. They don't have to deal with worrying about whether the catch is going to go through or not. And you can see has a nice solid back of gold, roughly 60 points of diamonds, a nice weight in metal. And it's very sparkly indeed. You can see the size of it by my hand. And again, with the new value to so many things due to gold having gone up compared to what it was a couple months ago, here is a piece that I am just going to put a price on it, and it'll be a last opportunity price. So let's go ahead and do that for only $288. $288. After that, the value of the diamonds and the gold separately can easily add up to that. So I had noticed that that somebody liked all three of those 20-point diamonds I offered the other week, and I was happy to see that. So I think I am going to re-feature a couple of those diamond parcels, which were shown at a time when the show was kind of confused, or maybe I was, as to what day of the week it was. So it was kind of messed up. So I think some of you actually may have missed some of these opportunities, and before I put them in go with them in another direction, I'll give you another chance at some of these. Also, some additional parcels that I am going to make a bargain. Let's look at item, as the clock ticks down, 1098.22. 1098.22, and what we have is one of those amazing parcels that Miss Barbara was referencing, and this I wasn't going to take out, but now I think I'm going to, only because I just noticed the cut of these stones, and let me just dump a couple of them. Well, why not? Why not all of them? Yeah, it looks prettier that way. Okay, look at this. Look at these. Beautiful, beautiful. And the cut is really unusual. See, it's a bar cut. A bar cut. And they're all matched and mated. They're almandine. Easy to tell. Take one of those super duper magnets to it, and it'll pick them right up in most cases. You see how shallow the pavilions are cut, which is a good thing. Most of the time this material is cut too deep and becomes too saturated in color. The way these are cut, it leaves them with a really nice, lighter, brighter color, and it looks different altogether, and that has to do completely with the how shallow the pavilions are, because it really tends to concentrate color when they start getting deeper. Real unique, unusual cut. So over 17 carats, known weight here on these, and ready, set, 17 carats. How about this? $21. $21. I would not cut one of those stones for $21. Not one of them. That's just the difference in the labor. Let's look at something that I think, again, you missed. 109, 52, no, 109, yep, 52, 2. So 109, 25, 22 might be an easier way to say that, Shawn. Poor Asif, having to listen to the way you spit out your dribble. Okay, look at this. When I saw this did not sell. I was really surprised. So we've been talking about blue topaz. Look at this piece. All of you love this material. Remember, we just learned in the trivia question that blue topaz is the second most common gemstone sold in the world. Number one being sapphire, because you cover across all the colors. And yeah, I can see that. But blue topaz, I can also see it still is extremely popular. This is that really beautiful Swiss blue that resembles a Santa Maria aqua. So this with the bar cut top really does give you the feel of a very fine aqua bracelet. It's 7.5 inches long, sterling silver, 50 karat total weight approximately, and look at how well and evenly those are cut. A wonderful piece, and it's, see, the hidden clasp, double figure 8 safety, and wow, that just sparkles even with all the dust from my mess I make. Look at that. Okay, here, price on this one. Well, if I could find it, you'd be the first to know. How about this? I'm going to go ahead and discount it as I usually do on pieces I can, which I can't in most cases, especially the higher end items. But I'm just throwing some items out here price-wise, and let's just see if how bad you want some. Okay, look at the total weight. 50 karat total weight. So what do you want to pay price per carat? It was $144, and no one bought it at $144 total amount of money. That's only less than $3 a carat. That would include all the sterling silver. And those topaz, remember, the Swiss blue, a dealer, after they are treated, has to sit on them in that color range for over a year. He has to sit on his inventory. The London blue, upwards of 3 years, until it is tested and certified to be eligible for the consumer market. So believe me, all these things are certainly well regulated when they mess around with doing those kind of treatments to them. And having to hold on to the goods easily increases a manufacturer's price that he has in them. We all know that. You hold on to money, well, time and money have a correlated value, and one to the other. So $144, you didn't want it. Okay, I don't want to show it again without it selling, so it's either to one of all of you at a discounted price of $124, $124, or else after this, it probably won't even go upstairs because they don't do much in sterling silver, and it will probably, then you'll be buying them broken down, and the sterling silver will go elsewhere. Beautiful piece. Take advantage of it. Okay, now, let me show you. I have this incredible topaz ring that was only $28 that no one bought, but let me show you. I have 2 diamond parcels, so these are the same price. This is item number 1094323. 1094323. Now, these are 2.5 carat each diamond parcels. I'm not going to take these out because I would probably knock them and go everywhere. So Latif will give us a tour of them. These are from the same lot. In other words, they are goods, and there's no difference in quality. I just took a cut, one from the other, so you get a mix of them. You have baguettes, you have rounds in these, and there is all different qualities and all different baguettes. This is when you're working on doing a baguette replacement and you need a multitude of stones to be able to find just the perfect one. Well, it's great to have the perfect one, but the only way you do is you have to have enough of the ones that are the perfect bads, the perfect ones that don't fit, and eventually you'll come across one that does. Same thing with the round stones. You have to have enough of them. And so these are 2.5 carat each. Price I did on these was $198 each. That's less than $100. What? Less than $100? Well, wait. That is less than $100, because that'd be $250. So roughly $80 a carat. What? Yeah, I am tripping. Latif said I'm tripping. There's no way. No way. Okay, so this is one of those deals where there's really nowhere to go for me to go price-wise. But since, I'll honor what I had said before, I'm going to make those $188 each then. $188, yeah. If you have to, since I already taught you the lesson of negotiating, I'm doing the negotiating for you, and you just were walking away. I hollered back at you. I said, okay. I don't have any other room, but I'll do it for $188 each. That was your walking away price right there. Because after that, there's a lot of other directions I can go and get that much for them. That's an incredible opportunity. So you can take one or both parcels, $188 each parcel, 2.5 carats to each parcel. Right there is the full information, baguette and round faceted diamond parcel. And like I said, the clarities are mixed in there. Okay, now, let me showcase 109, 30, let's see, 109, 3623. And we already showed some a beautiful iolite in the form of the March's St. Patrick's Day cut there in the 4-leaf clover pendant. Well, here is perfect for Easter as well, for the Easter season. An Iolite cross. An Iolite cross, 14 karat gold, diamond in the middle. Look at the pear shapes. I like the design, and what a great gift to give something like that. And I tell you what, I had featured this at only $58, and you didn't take it at that. So how about, I don't really have any room to go less than, but I will go less than. I'll do it anyway. Let's do it. $48. There we go. $48 by way of a percent. That's a huge discount. Now I'm going to keep moving here. I'll put away these items later. Now I have a another item in the diamond parcel here. Okay. Yep. Let me show you. If you wanted some of those diamonds, but you didn't want that large of a parcel, I have one more matching goods, because they were all the same. I put them all together, and then I cut out the different weights. 109, 44, 23. 109, 44, 23. This parcel I made at 1 1/4 carat. 1 1/4 carat. Same goods as the other, mixed qualities. And I have, how about this? I'll make this opportunity for only $88. If you ever do anything and want just a diamonds for either replacement goods, if you do that kind of work for other people, or if you like to create your own jewelry and just wanted to have some diamonds for that purpose as well, like bales. I would always put a baguette diamond in my bales. It was just kind of also a signature in so many pieces. And so I kept different odd baguettes, and they worked perfect. All you needed was one. It could be any shape, as long as it was like a baguette, because it went well with the direction and length of the bale. And neat to do. So, but you can't do neat little add-ons like that if you don't have the goods. It was neat to see that Anthony got those pre-bezel set 14 karat gold diamonds I had in, which was a perfect item for him. He just has to solder them onto something and they're good to go. So only $88 on that parcel deal. Let me put these away to not mix them up. Okay, now. Okay, here is a little bit higher end. 109.48.23. Let me verify that. 109.49.23. 8s and 9s looking like 10, yep, 49.23. Now, this was a much different quality diamond parcel. And these stones are really, really nice. They, let's see, 3 millimeter. I'm reading this so I can then talk to you about their VS to SI clarity. So a really, really good clarity. There's 10 stones. Look at those. Wow. Look at those. We don't need to take them out. They are exactly as you see them. Look at how well the cuts match. When you turn them like that, see how they all look the same? Well, that's because these stones came out of a channel set band. It was a band I showed everybody. Nobody bought it as a gold band. I cut it up. I did. A lot of people, there's a lot of bands out there, but there's not a lot of loose diamonds. So these at a carat 10 total weight, 3 millimeter matched goods. So you have 10 stones. So they average 11 points each, which is exactly the weight they should be to be 3 millimeters. So that tells you how well they were cut. VS to SI. So SI really meaning SI1, but I just put a big broader, and the VS could be VS1, and you know, not just VS2. So either way, they're just a really nice high quality. I'm going to put a price that is so far less than what these would cost in the market to buy them that I hope, really do hope, someone out there takes advantage of the price because it would be a huge savings for you. $278. $278 for a carat 10 of fine goods. A dealer cost on those diamonds would easily be twice that. Easily be twice that. And to get them in the market. So, okay, let me show you. We're going to go from one extreme to the other. 109. Let me look at this. 109.32.22. I also had to put new ink in my printer this week, and so it was smudging at first. That's my excuse for my bad eyes. And now, so many times what you get out there is what I call hemalike. Hemalike, yeah. Notice the difference between hematite and hemalike. They actually make something called hemalike. I wish I could claim that name because I think it's a great name for fake hematite. And this isn't. This is a real deal. It is genuine hematite. You can see imperfections in it, which there's not in the fake stuff, the hemalike. And here is a bear. If it looks anything like the jade bears, well, it comes from the same carvers. It comes from the same my same people. That's how I know exactly what it is and where it comes from. So, holding a salmon, you know, copied after the bears in British Columbia, which if you read anything recently about the bears, and I read an article about how the mountain lions are able to swim upwards of a mile in between the 6,000 islands up around British Columbia and the Washington coast, which I have been to and been on many of the different islands around there, and it's kind of just was wild to think. You think you're going to an island. Oh, I got this to myself. There's nothing dangerous. So it's an island. Yeah. And then a mountain lion sneaks up and eats you in the night. But that's the excitement of camping out, right? So anyway, this guy, a lot of fun. Add it to your collection of carvings because it is priced for that purpose. An inexpensive, fun carving. Inexpensive only because I'm offering it for $16. Only $16 on that guy. Let me see. Okay, only moments left with you here. Wanted always more time, but no. Let me do this now. 109.47.23. Let me make sure I get that right. Dang it. 109.47.23. Okay. And what I have here is, look at this, an Iolite parcel. Here, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful matched Iolites. And wow, yep. So, don't need to take them out. They are exactly as you see them, unless you turn them on their sides and look through the other way, because remember, it changes color with the direction you turn it. I had this priced. If you have looked at any of the Iolite sources for natural Iolite, I have this one place. It's the discount source for gemstones. They have nice stuff, and it's inexpensive. And I make sure my items are far less expensive than what they offer. So I use them for a pricing guide, mostly, to make sure I am the cheapest one on the block. And I am going to prove that by taking this carat weight, and I looked up how much they sold Iolite for. I was kind of floored. I haven't been out in the market as much. I probably don't need to learn all those things. I just need to keep selling it to all of you inexpensively. But it's only inexpensive if you take advantage of it. Here we go. I'm going to discount this. I think it was Miss Elise. Somebody was looking for an Iolite parcel. They might have gotten one. Maybe they want another one, because at only $68. $68 for that parcel. It would certainly be worth it. All right. I am going to, feature this one last time. 108-4123. 108-4123, because I thought it was just such. Hold on, let's see. Sorry, I read it wrong. 109-4123. That's the 8s and the 9s getting me today. Yep. Okay. This is the ring I said to you that was $28. $28. I mean, look at how beautiful that is. So you have white topaz here in these prongs, and then look at the blue topaz. That's probably, for me, my most favorite color, because it looks exactly like most aquamarine. So I like a blue topaz that looks like an aqua. And really, I did not test these. I just went by visual look, which is probably dumb on my part, but I am going with years of knowledge, but years of knowledge can often fail me. So it could be to your advantage, my overconfidence in evaluating them as blue topaz instead of what they might be, which could be aqua. Why not? All right, it was 28. Let's do this. Let's make it $24. $24. And that's a laughable price. And let's see, the last item of the show before we do trivia, let's look at Shawn, look at the number, 1095123. 1095123. And this was, I think this was one I was really surprised that no one grabbed it. A beautiful pre-night pendant. Look at that. And then look at the blue topaz, since we were speaking of blue topaz. See how I segued into that? And I think that, look at, with one of those little, I don't know, Milky Way swirls, galaxy that is, not the candy bar. All right, for wonderful, wonderful quality pre-night, it's neat to have something that is, you mostly see as mineral specimens, but in that quality, that is really gemmy. Look at the nice solid back on this. Big bail and opportunity. Let me put it right there while I give you that opportunity, which makes this one discounted down, wow, to what the pre-night would be more, $38. $38. I just wanted to make sure when I don't show these again that I brought them to a price that made it just not even questionable whether you should have taken advantage of them or not. One last item, since it's right in front of me, 109-1522. 1091522. You have that one? Great. Look at this. Last item of the show. This is 2 citrines. 2 beautiful citrines. Really matched in color. The only difference being the size, which changes a little bit of the color tone to it. But really nice. And there is natural color citrines this color. So not all citrines are treated from amethyst. Now a lot of citrine is created from doing heat treatments to amethyst, but there are natural citrines in this color range. And but that's one thing about quartz. You can't tell whether it's been messed with or not. You can tell though if it's genuine quartz or not. These certainly are, so you know at least it's not a lab created quartz because you can already see a little bit of zoning in them, and anymore I want to see zoning in my amethyst, in my citrine. That's how I know I'm getting a real quartz at least. And then the treatments after that, well, that's left to be decided, and it doesn't matter as much. Here we go, the price on the 2 pieces. Both of them. I am discounting from already a bargain and making them only $38 for the both. Only $38 for the both. All right, we'll be back in a moment with trivia time. It's that time. It is trivia time, which we follow up every show with. When that's always possible, which most of the time it is, because I love giving away things of value for free. And when I think about the value and multiply it by over 275 gifts given, that's a lot of love. And I appreciate it because the love I feel works both ways. Didn't think I was going to say anything like that, did you? I really appreciate it. I don't regret a single wonderful piece that I've given away or the value of them. I just appreciate all of your participation, and I encourage more of you to participate. So I think we only had 5 or 6 people. I mean, you know, you can't beat those odds for winning something cool, unique, different, something you maybe wouldn't have bought but maybe wanted, but it's like, well, I will spend my money on something else, and then you get it for free. And there's magic to the show. So often things that are won end up right where they belonged all along. And many people just didn't realize it until they got it. And where is George, by the way? I think of George all the time because he was like one of the first early ones. George is our resident geologist of the family. So George, you hear this, check in with us. And many others. I wonder about, you know, what happened to Miss Ursula. And there's been so many that I wish, you know, all of you would check in and say hi. And speaking of checking in and saying hi, Miss Jan, I want to address Miss Jan, or anybody and everybody. If you're on the, I'm not sure how you access it. Maybe just type it into. Well, I guess you could just go and look at it on Facebook. However you search those things, because I do not have a social media presence. I never have, and I know a lot of you might be used to that sort of thing, but I'm not, and I won't go that direction time-wise and whatnot. But I do have people that, when my name comes up in the Facebook pages, they let me know. So there was a discussion this past week of whoever people's favorite hosts were, and Jan, who has been with us, and her wonderful husband and her son that she had lost, that we still feel is part of the family, and they have been part of the show, and for a long, long time. And so someone had told me that there was a discussion about favorite host, and she said that, she goes, oh, one of my favorite hosts is Shawn. And other people said, Shawn, well, I didn't know he was still there or at Gem Shopping. And a lot of people don't realize that I'm actually still a part of Gem Shopping and have not gone anywhere in the last 5 years, and am right here in the building. And so I'm asking you, Miss Janny, if you could just be let everyone know on that Facebook, what do you call it, Facebook site, Facebook thread, and let everyone know how to find me. I think you mentioned that I was on YouTube, but I want them to know that I'm on YouTube still as a part of Gem Shopping, just so that they know they get all the benefits of this huge, wonderful company that, including the return policies and all the quality controls and the backup that a company like this supports and can give you. So please, for those of you that are on that Facebook page, please mention how to find this show so that the others that have been looking for me and not knowing where I am know that they only have to go. The easiest way is to just type in the name of the show into the Facebook search. The other way is to go to the bottom of the home page of Gem Shopping Network's homepage and go to the bottom and click on the Learning Center, and then it'll take you to the How It's Done series of shows, which you definitely want to watch those. If you want some more of me, you'll get to see how every possible combination of work is done at the bench, including 2 completely handmade items, one completely handmade, the other made through the lost wax method. So the other is by rolling out gold. So the 2 methods of fabrication, you get to see, it's really very educational. Some of the How It's Done episodes that we filmed have over 150,000 views now at this point. So many have over 100,000 views. So there's a lot of people that find a lot of information by doing that. And so I'm sure if you haven't seen the How It's Done series, you will find very educational and informative. And one of those things that even when I start watching my own self, I'm glued to it. A lot of it has to do with my director, who was awesome, and then the editing, that was another Shawn at the time, wonderful editing, but really the direction. I now understand why a director is so important. The host, many people can host, but to direct so it comes out the way it did, I've never been so pleased and never been so happy to be guided through something that I know, but I know it from a goldsmith's perspective. I don't know it from a television editing perspective, and how to make something jumbled sound like something educational and informative. And that's the difference Asif made. Every Friday in my office here, he would come and we would shoot for a couple of more hours, 3 usually, for those episodes. And I'm very grateful to have them and really proud of how they came out. So if I'm proud of something like that, I'm normally not humble. You wouldn't hear that in my voice, but yeah, they're pretty cool. So check those out. Miss Jan, pass on the information on the that Facebook page that you were on. It's a Gem Shopping client customer one that everyone talks about, and let everyone know exactly how to find me. I would be appreciative for that. Okay, here we go. 2 questions I have. Question number 1. Name 3 iron oxides showed during the show. In other words, during this episode, name 3 different iron oxides discussed or shown. And never know, maybe there was 4, but name 3 anyway. Question number 2. Name the two minerals involved in both pseudomorphs shown during this show. So there were two pseudomorphs. Now, when you mention a pseudomorph, remember it's one mineral replacing another. So normally you say it is X after Y. In other words, it is X or X replacing Y. However way you want to word it, I will understand and figure it out whether you got it right or wrong. Easy enough. Just name the two minerals involved in each of the pseudomorphs shown during the show, and it's as easy as that, and you get a great chance to win. All right, so thanks again for all of your support. Pass it on to your friends. I can't thank you enough for that. And also, make those purchases. There are some fantastic opportunities I offered, and break the piggy bank if you have to, because once they're swept away, many times, of course, that's it. They're gone, broken down, especially in a lot of situations like this. There's some great deals out there for you. All right, I am thankful to Gem Shopping. I'm thankful to Asif for allowing us to be able to come in and be able to record this show on Monday for you to see it today on Tuesday. Other than that, it would have been sad, because I'm trying to get back on track and bring you a show every week as close to Monday as possible. And that and health and the creek doesn't rise. And I truly have a creek I have to get by. It's called the Etowah River, and I don't want any more of those awards on the refrigerator anymore, because I almost got one I had to pay for. I don't like to pay for my award. The award is supposed to be something good. All right. God bless each and every one of you. Hope you're going to have a wonderful, wonderful spring, because it's each week down here, it is a leapfrog difference in the way the trees are blooming. It happens quick when it happens here in the South. Take care, and I'll see you next Monday.